Hi, my name is Prabhat, and I'm a principal consultant at Devoteam. Welcome to Devoteam's webcast for today. We're discussing an interesting topic today, which is like the mecca of the events of the AWS world, which is the AWS reInvent that is happening from the 28th of November to 2nd of December in Las Vegas, Nevada. This one's pretty special, not just because it's the 10th anniversary of the reInvent, but also because after the pandemic hit, this is the first time when AWS is actually doing a full-blown event. After going 100% virtual in 2020, the event returned to Las Vegas in 2021 with limited numbers of people actually making to the event. But it's ready to kick off this November in 2022 now. Attended by approximately 50 to 60,000 IT professionals across the world, traveling from global parts of the world, AWS reInvent enables visitors to learn more and about and make better use of AWS core services like Amazon EC2, Amazon S3, RDS, Amazon Redshift, Aurora, and lots of machine learning stuff. Typically, there are several announcements of new AWS products and services during the event. That part is one of my favorite things to check out. What are the new announcements made? What is the breathtaking technology that is going to be released very soon? Which are the new regions where AWS is going to be reaching to? What are the new age problems that AWS is going to solve? And which shows Amazon's exhibit their culture of customer obsession and working backwards towards values. I'm joined today by two of my colleagues who are actually going to the reInvent, Mark and Andy. Andy, do you want to introduce yourself, followed by Mark, please?
Sure. Hi, Prabhat. So I'm Andy Montgomery. I'm the UK AWS CTO here at Devoteam, and I'm looking forward to attending reInvent, actually flying out there a little bit earlier than the event starting, but flying out on the 26th. I think a lot of people actually fly out a little bit so they can adjust with the time difference and the jet lag. There's registration to be done, some networking, and some other warm-up events prior to the full conference starting. So I'm looking forward to getting out there, and it's going to be an interesting week.
Perfect. That's good to hear, Andy. Mark?
Mark Dalton. Hello, everyone. I run Devoteam's UK AWS business called Devoteam A-Cloud. And I was just trying to work out there. I think this might be my 5th reInvent.
Wow.
And my first one since 2018, actually, because in 2019, oh no, I went. So actually, I went 4 weeks after my first child was born to reInvent. So actually, yeah, so 2019 was the last one I went to pre-pandemic. So the first one post the pandemic.
But that's, I'm glad that you said about your child, Josh, at the time. Andy is a father now as well. So I think this is like a pattern that we're going to see.
Yeah.
Fathers trying to get out of their own homes and going to reInvent.
Yeah. Well, I had a baby girl just 3 weeks ago. So, so it's going to be an interesting time for my wife and family while I'm over in Vegas. But I actually attended my first reInvent in 2014. So that would have been is that the second or third reInvent? Yeah, and I remember I think that was about 14,000 attendees, all within the Venetian hotel itself. This was before the conference expanded into other facilities and hotels and venues in Las Vegas. And I remember that feeling like a really large event, busy, queues. Difficult to get into sessions, queues on escalators and things like that. So to go back again a number of years later and it'd be 50, 60,000 people spread across the Vegas Strip, that's going to be an even bigger and more busier event.
That's amazing. I am very jealous of both of you going, but I am equally excited for you as well. So I'm hoping that you're going to bring some swag for me as well. I actually wrote a blog a couple of weeks back wherein what to do, how things are structured, who are the keynotes. So if you are listening to this on YouTube, there will be a link in the description section. And if you come through our landing page, you should be able to see that blog right there. Let's start off with the sessions, because the reInvent is a lot about sessions, listening to people, listening to the leaders at AWS. Starting with you, Andy, what are the kind of sessions that you are actually looking forward to now?
Yeah, sure. So the thing that's always pretty consistent at all the reInvents is the keynotes.
Yeah.
And the keynotes are really important, is a really important part of reInvent. I'm just going to go through those keynotes for people that are not familiar with reInvent. But on the Monday night, so this is the local time. So on the Monday the 28th, you have the first keynote, which is with Pete DeSantis. He's the Senior Vice President of Utility Computing. So he's responsible for EC2 and a lot of the core infrastructure that runs that AWS runs on. So that's at 7:30 local, or if you're really keen, you can get up for 3:30 in the morning on the Tuesday or watch it on playback. But Pete DeSantis normally gives a lot of interesting talks about the AWS core infrastructure, how it works and how they're innovating, some of the problems that they have to solve to bring the services that they innovate for customers, and how they remove undifferentiated heavy lifting for customers. So that's always a nice warm-up event on the Monday. And then straight into Tuesday morning, 8:30 local, about 4:30 in the afternoon UK time. So it's usually a good idea to try and join the live event towards the end of the working day here in the UK on the Tuesday. That'll be Adam Selipsky. So he's the AWS CEO. This will be Adam's second AWS keynote. He took over from Andy Jassy not so long ago. And I think this will be an interesting opportunity for him to put his own personal take on the keynote, because I think the first one he did was not long after he joined, so he's had a lot longer time to reflect on his time in AWS as CEO. So he normally brings a lot of customers to the stage to talk about their experiences and successes of using AWS. He'll also announce new products and services, and he'll talk about how they're innovating on the platform. And then on Wednesday morning, same time, so 8:30 local or 4:30 GMT, we've got Swami. I can't pronounce Swami's surname, but he's the VP of AWS Data and Machine Learning. So for all things AI, ML, SageMaker, there's been always been interesting announcements in the last few years where they've really gone heavy on machine learning with SageMaker and all of the SageMaker products. So we'll be interested to see what they announce there. And then on the Thursday, same times again, 8:30 local and 4:30 GMT, is Werner Vogels, who I believe was AWS CTO, but is now Amazon CTO.
Okay.
He always makes an interesting entrance. He gives great insights into how Amazon and AWS are developing and what's important for customers. He spends a lot of time traveling, so he sees firsthand on the customer challenges, and he'll no doubt come out with a number of announcements as well. And then finally, in terms of keynotes, if you're an AWS partner, Ruba Borno, who's the VP of Worldwide Channels and Alliances, this will be her first, I think it's her first keynote in that role.
Just joined from Cisco as well, and she's very well regarded in the partner ecosystem. That's a big win for AWS there.
Yeah, so that's the keynotes. And then in terms of sessions, it's such a big event. I mean, the challenge for an attendee is to go through the catalog, work out what you're interested in, work out what building it's going to be in, what type of session is it, and then drill into can you actually get attendance at some of these sessions. I'll just give you a quick summary, but maybe we'll come back around again in a few minutes to talk about the specifics. But I'm particularly interested in data and analytics. So there's a lot of sessions there on data. So there's just to give you a small sample. There's the serverless future of cloud data analytics, which is BOA 302-R for those that want to look at the session. I think giving that strategy on how data and analytics is going to evolve is really important. That goes hand in hand with a session called ARC 313-R1, which is building modern data architectures on AWS. And there's lots of different sessions like that on data and analytics. Sustainability, I think there's 36 sessions, formal sessions on sustainability, and obviously lots to do with migration. So just a couple. There's secrets to successful migration at scale. And then there's an AWS migration and modernization game day that your engineers can get involved in. There's also another 3 to 4 hour lab, which is building an AWS multi-tier architecture using the Capstone lab. So lots of different sessions. Some are chalk and talk sessions, some are more strategy and PowerPointing, and then there's hands-on workshops that you can get to attend.
Perfect. Thanks, Andy. And for viewers, in case you are looking to find these sessions out, there's a mobile app that has been released now. You can search for them, book your sessions accordingly. And like Andy said, it's a very large strip. You'll be traveling from walking from one place to another. Look for the session which is even closer or in the order of things. Otherwise, you might end up walking quite a bit, and that can get irritating. But thanks for that, Andy. Mark, over to you. What are your sessions that you're looking forward to?
So I think, on that point, what I've effectively tried to do, so my agenda tip, because I find that you get quite overwhelmed going from session to session. It's kind of, so I'm trying to get my head into a specific kind of space for a day or half a day or whatever that is. So I've basically blocked out so the two topics I'm really interested in going to look at is obviously sustainability. So I actually hold... I'm the CSR leader for Devoteam in the UK. So that's a personal passion of mine, is to do more in sustainability, to do more for society, and to structure and lead Devoteam in doing that as well. So all of my Monday, actually, I'm going to sustainability sessions. And I think what I'm trying to understand there is, barring the reasons for migrating over to cloud for carbon emissions, to reduce carbon emissions of your data centers, what are the next levels? What are the next steps you can do? Whether it is re-architecting for sustainability or optimizing your architectures from a FinOps and a kind of green ops perspective as well. I'm really going to dig into that subject quite considerably, and also the specific session, I can't remember, but it's around how you can build cloud native applications based on, well, cloud native sustainable applications help you monitor your own, whether it's IoT, whether it's machine learning. I think I've got 2 or 3 sessions kind of looking in that direction as well. So that's the first area, which I've blocked out all of Monday for that, and actually it's crept a bit into Tuesday and Wednesday, some of those sessions. So taking what you just mentioned there, I need to try and stay in one area, one hotel for probably for most of that day, maybe block an hour or 2 to get over to another hotel. Yeah, so that's my plan, is to block the days. The other thing that I'm really interested in going to look at is the reasons for migrating to cloud. And actually not just the reasons to migrate, but I want to go and listen to case studies, to other customers talking about the successes that they've had when they've moved to cloud and how they're able to modernize or build off the back of it. So I'm having a look at my schedule here. So I've got scaling, where is it? So I've got Kellogg's, looking at Kellogg's modernization journey, doing a worldwide business transformation. The reference for that one is CPG 203, and that's taking place on Wednesday afternoon. There's a company called Unox, who've built smart products and machines for new revenue streams. So again, looking to innovate and use the Amazon platform to innovate and deliver new market streams. They are talking in a manufacturing industry session under the code MFG 204. Telco as a service, so future of digital with AWS and Vodafone. I thought that sounded pretty interesting as well. And that's taking place on Monday. I've got a clash with the sustainability talk on that one, by the way. And also the transformation of hospitality for the customer of the future. So for me, what I'm looking for is industry case studies of how industries are using cloud, and what potentially we could be using in the UK, case studies and things that we should be trying to learn from other people who've been successful and use the cloud to innovate.
Okay, perfect. Spoke like a true reinvent veteran, booking hotels close to the sessions as well. That's pretty cool. Thank you, both of you. So I think time for some exciting predictions now. Starting with Andy. Again, there's always predictions, and I don't know if the betting world takes any kind of predictions or tips for the reinvent, but what's your money on? What are the kind of predictions that you're looking forward and kind of expecting to happen?
Thanks. It's always hard to guess, right?
Of course.
But I think what AWS, what Amazon do is that not over 90% of their product and feature development is driven by customers. But what's also interesting is that AWS innovates on behalf of customers. So it's not necessarily what they've been told to develop, but they read between the lines and then try and innovate on behalf of customers and deliver new products and services as well. I think you'll get the usual suspects. So these will come out of probably Adam Selipsky's keynote and definitely Werner's keynote, and probably a little bit of Peter DeSantis as well, which is the usual infrastructure announcements in terms of local zones, new regions, networking capabilities, edge computing, things like that. I think we'll see more of that because that's kind of AWS bread and butter, and as they expand into new regions and new geographies, I think we'll see more of that. We just had the Zurich region launched in Switzerland, so I think you might see a bit of a roadmap for that. We also tend to see compute innovation as well, so that could be new processors, new instance types. I think there's over 300 or more instance types on AWS, and they build their own chipsets, things like Graviton, so Graviton processors.
Very popular which was very popular and got a lot of traction during the last reInvent.
Yeah, this is a promise around different chipsets that offer 10 times the performance at a tenth of the cost, which is a normal pattern for AWS. But it doesn't necessarily mean that customers can just move to these different chipsets. I think they have to do their own assessments. It's the kind of work we do at Devoteam, which is as we go through kind of FinOps and GreenOps assessments, we look at what the total size of the prize is for really optimizing for customers. But you have to dive deep a little bit on the technical detail to see whether things comport to these new technologies. We may see some cost reductions. That could be a little bit challenging in the current global economic climate. You've only got to read the news day by day to see, looming recession and things like this. But it wouldn't surprise me to see more cost reductions. New packaged offerings. What does that mean? Amazon, so AWS released Amazon Connect not so long ago, which is their cloud-based contact center solution, which is a complete packaged offering from AWS. The rest of the platform is typically more primitive services or Lego bricks that you assemble yourself, but they released Amazon Connect as a packaged solution, and I think there might be a bit of a strategy to do more of that. So it wouldn't surprise me if you see a new packaged offering released. Mark just touched on sustainability. I think we'll see more on that. Further democratization of ML and data analytics. We know ML and analytics is very difficult for customers. The skills are in high demand. There's a skills shortage. So how they democratize those capabilities into their products, I think we'll see more of that and more serverless offerings. We always see a lot of discussion about containers. EKS, ECS, and containers on premise and multi-cloud and all these different things. I see clear evidence of customers struggling to get going with containers or to be able to do it at scale. I think there's a difference between spinning up a couple of containers versus doing hundreds or thousands. So we may see some help there for customers. In the data space, data mesh People talk about this concept of data mesh and that it not being a technology per se, but trying to move forward with data as products and trying to make data available to end users in a more easily consumable way. So I think there are some of the things that I would expect to see at reInvent.
Thanks, Andy. I think it's a lot about cloud optimization than cloud migration now. It's a lot about packaged offerings than a standard solution. Over to Mark. Mark, what do you think? What are your top predictions for reInvent?
Well, I think we talked about it just in a bit of preparation here, but actually the digital skills gap. So one thing that Andy also touched on it there, but one thing that I always look at is new certifications. So if you're an engineer, what are AWS doing to effectively enable those people to understand and build on the cloud and build onto AWS and get recognized for it. So actually releasing more certifications, more training actually. So I think, Prabhat, are you aware of the training, how the training, digital training application on AWS has changed over the last few months? Actually, I think it's even weeks, isn't it?
I've seen that. I think because Gartner released recently a paper that I was reading the other day, which was talking about how skills gap is going to be an inhibitor for people moving to the cloud. And AWS, I feel, has to come out in the market helping which are authorized training partners. Devoteam is a authorized AWS training partner, and we've seen in a lot of projects wherein training and development with the people of the organization goes a long way in the success of a cloud migration. So I think the training part is going to be critical, and we'll see some announcement around that time. Another thing that I feel is going to be a good announcement is around the partner ecosystem as such. There will be new premier partners, there will be new advanced consulting partners. There might be some specialty certifications like SAP or Connect also might come up. So those are the things that I see. Anything else from you, Mark?
Just lots of new people to meet, I guess. It's been 3 years since the last time that people at reInvent, there's new people joined AWS, there's new people who've gone onto the cloud, and actually just talking to customers as well. There's new people who are going over to reInvent this year, and I think that's the exciting thing, is to hear other people's stories, hear where they've got to, just catch up with some old friends and find out where they are on their journey as well.
That's amazing. And in terms of predictions, I predict 20,000 steps a day at reInvent.
Perfect. I think we're going to keep a look at that, because people do tend to walk a lot. That brings us to the next session. What are the tips that you have? I think in the blog that we have done, we've covered a good amount of tips. But I think the major tip is to carry good walking shoes, because you will be tired by the end of it. Hydrate yourself, look after yourself and the fellow attendees, be compassionate and be kind with yourself and with other people, because it gets quite hectic. Going to our last segment, Devoteam at reInvent. Mark, what are we doing at the event this time, and is there anything that you want to talk to our customers about?
So yeah, we've got about 30 plus people attending from Devoteam Europe. Wow. So Devoteam is a European only partner. So we're actually all getting on a plane, all heading over to reInvent, and then on Tuesday evening on Vegas time, I think starting at 6:30 p.m. Devoteam is hosting a drinks and networking session with at Topgolf, which is at the bottom end of the strip near the Mandalay Bay Hotel. So if anyone wants to come to probably a European exclusive event, to be honest, reInvent is 90% Americans, and my experience would be actually going and hearing, you're walking around, you hear a UK accent or you hear a German accent, you're like, oh, look, it's someone from my continent. So actually, if you're interested in going and speaking with other Europeans, then I'd encourage you to come down there. We'll probably do some quizzing, some golf, although I don't play it myself, but I can try and hit a ball with a stick. and some drinks and some food. So if anyone is heading there and wants to come and hang out Tuesday evening, let us know. Otherwise, we'll be around attending sessions, meeting for coffees, for drinks, and trying to avoid getting ourselves into trouble.
Thanks. Thank you, Mark. In the blog that I spoke about and the links that you'll see, we have a registration page link for the Top Golf event. There's Mark's email address and phone number. So in case you want to catch him during the session, feel free to go about. But as you can see, there's a lot of content to go through. So you want to identify what you're after, what you're specifically looking for, and you should get that. If you have missed any of the sessions, please look at our blog and you'll be able to identify. And this is kind of one of those things where I love to say that what happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas. On 8th of December, we three will meet again. And I hope Andy and Mark would have rested by that time. And we'll be recording another session, another webcast in terms of how many of our predictions went right. And I'll be actually making a note of what Mark and Andy have said today and coming back to it. So we look forward to seeing you again on 8th of December to see what happened at Vegas and in terms of what new key announcements were made. We're looking forward to some of the big announcements that can help the partner ecosystem and make the world a better place. Thank you for your time, Andy and Mark. Good luck for your stay, and I'll speak soon. Thank you so much.
See you later.